And I know I've watched enough doctor shows or whatever or something, but I know that it's hard for them to find matches with transplants. What is involved with that? What makes it hard to do?
The primary thing is blood types, and if you're A negative and you were to somehow get a transplant of a B positive kidney, your body would reject that. It would be like it would consider it like a disease, or like a disease germ or something like that.
Foreign cells in your body.
Some foreign something in your body, and it would reject it. So you have to match blood types, and there's some other things that's too scientific for me to understand that have to match. But basically, it's your blood type that they look for.
And that can be, tricky in that. But I know you found a place that does some things with transplants that increase the options for people. Tell us about that.
This is a really neat idea. The transplant facility I'm working with up in Kansas City has a program whereby you can swap kidneys. If you have a living donor, of course, have to be a living donor in these situations. If you have a living donor whose blood type doesn't match yours, somebody, a cousin or something that wants to donate a kidney to you, and their blood type doesn't match yours, they can swap that with somebody else who's in a similar situation, whose donor's kidney does match yours.
Yeah.
So that gives you two people who get kidneys that wouldn't have had them otherwise. It's just a great idea.
Yeah, it's I heard about that. It's awesome. It's and then I think, why haven't there been more of this? Why don't
I don't know if other facilities do that or not. I just haven't had any experience with other facilities.
Yeah, I know this one was the first I heard of. I imagine there are some around,
but somebody else is not.
Yeah, but it's such a great thing, because I know a lot of times with kidney donations, it's a relative, a lot of times, or someone very close to the family that will do that. But if the blood types don't match or whatever else they're looking at, then this is such a great option where someone else may have a family member or someone that's wanting to donate can't, because it doesn't match. Now that increases not only the opportunity to get it, but also increases the ability for someone to donate.
Exactly.
That's wanting to help out. I think that's just awesome. When it comes to donation, that might be something people wonder about. Well, they're going to need their kidney too, so how does that work?
Well, you can get by just fine on one kidney as long as it's a healthy kidney.
Yeah.
And if it's not a healthy kidney, they won't accept you for it as a donor, of course.
Yeah.
I guess the good Lord gave us two kidneys on purpose in case one fails. But as long as you have the one kidney, and as I understand it, after you've donated, you have to be a little more careful than normal.
I would imagine, yeah.
But it's not a significant hardship, to get by on just one kidney.
Yeah, I've heard of many people doing it. So
I suppose that's why they don't have living heart donors or something.
Right. Yeah, you only got one of those. Yeah, that's neat the way God has set up some things like that.
Yes.
And I guess one of the things that people might wonder too is, I can see where in a situation like yours, it was a medication that caused the kidneys to get damaged. So when it gets replaced, you're not having that same factor that's going to damage the new ones. And I'm sure that's something they consider too when they're looking at donors and donations and things like that.
That's true. You have most recipients have to take what they call immunosuppressants. They're drugs that are designed to make your body's immune system not entirely go away, but tamp it down so that it doesn't reject the kidney, because even with a good match, most people have some rejection issues because it's not yours, and your body figures that out. So most people who have received an organ of any sort have to take immunosuppressants.
Is that something that you have to do before surgery also?
No.
Do you know?
No,
it's more after. And
they have to kind of play with it. There's I guess maybe a dozen different drugs that they use for this, and they have to play around and figure out the ones that work with you. Some people have to take a lot of them, and some people only have to take 1 or 2 in small doses. It just depends on how well your body accepts the organ.
So then, like with a transplant, what is the recovery like? Because I imagine it's going to take some time for the new organ to not be rejected. You have those anti-immune drugs, so you have to be aware of, flus and all those kinds of things that you're more susceptible to.
As I understand it, they require you to stay at home, entirely at home, for a month after you get out of the hospital and stuff, so that you're not around anyone.
And they don't want people coming and visiting and stuff, because they want you away from all germs.
That's the whole idea, is that you're supposed to stay away from any kind of bacteria, anything that can make you sick, because you don't have an immunity system.
Sure.
They basically, when they first put the organ in, they basically kill your immune system, and it has to come back. So you're at home for a good while. This is not a minor surgery. It's a big surgery, about as big as they get. So you're going to have just from the surgery itself, you're going to have a recovery curve. But most people, once they get over the recovery time and get their immunity back up, live a pretty normal life. There are situations you can get into, that they say you really shouldn't, you shouldn't be mud wrestling, maybe, something like that. But you can do most things that anybody else can do. You can go rafting or things like that, and just pretty much lead a normal life.
Yeah, the other part with the recovery I was wondering about, and people might wonder, is like the dialysis part, I guess, is stopped then? Your new kidney's trying to work? Is that something they have to play around with every...
I'm not sure exactly how that works. I think as soon as you get the kidney in, it starts functioning, and you might still have to have a little dialysis.
Sure.
I guess it would depend on the
I guess it would everyone, they have to really monitor close and see how the blood's doing.
If you do, I'm sure it's only for maybe a week or two, So I know they do everything they can to get that kidney up and running and functioning as normally as possible, as quickly as possible.
Sure.
I understand that they make you drink, Lake Mead full of water every day.
Oh, I'll bet, kind of flushes out and stuff and keeps things,
to wait, as they call it, wake it up and get it going.
Sure, that makes sense.